Hi everybody, I'm Heather Dawson. Well, it's a pleasure bringing you the best of California every week on our show, and back to school seems to be the theme of the week. So as always, let's start off our show with a quick look at the best headlines throughout California. Cypress, Santa Cruz, La Jolla, and Cerritos are home to 4 of the top 10 high schools in the country, as ranked by the new U.S. News and World Report. Now, this gives California more top 10 schools than any other state. Well, no objections here. We're happy to report that classes started this week for UC Irvine's brand new law school, the UC School of Law. Now, the university was able to pick the very best for its inaugural class by offering free tuition. Pasadena and Palo Alto, now 2 not-so-new California universities, made the grade this week, landing in the top 10 with the release of U.S. News' annual Best American Colleges list. California Institute of Technology and Stanford University tied for the 4th spot, coming in behind only Harvard, Princeton, and Yale. Well, topping another U.S. News list this week was San Jose, who scored a spot on America's 10 best places to grow up. Year-round sunshine, lots of kid-friendly activities, and the title of the country's safest big city helped get the capital of Silicon Valley high on the list. Coachella Valley, going back to school this week was a little easier for thousands of La Quinta students thanks to the kindness of strangers. Kids began lining up a day in advance for free school supplies from the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission. Well, if you're one of the millions of dog owners in this country, I'm sure you've heard of Cesar Milan. Our very own J.R. Ibarra had a chance to catch up with the dog whisperer.
They might be man's best friend, but sometimes they can be a little hard to handle. That's where Cesar Milan has generated a strong following on television as the dog whisperer. Recently, with a few thousand fans on hand, Cesar made a guest appearance at the first annual Pet Expo in historic downtown Upland, where we had a chance to get a quick snapshot of his passionate work with our furry canine friends.
I was 13 years old when I told my mom that I want to be the best dog trainer in the world. I was going to a judo competition in Mazatlan. And my mom, you know, as most of moms, just turn around and say, of course you can do whatever you want. And I believe her. So, you know, but I grew up on a farm, and that's what I learned most of what I know. To work with Mother Nature, not against Mother Nature. Then I came to America and learned that most of the people in America were working against Mother Nature, so they had problems with dogs, and thanks to that, I have a TV show.
After 6 successful seasons, his popular television show is now seen in over 80 countries. And it's Milan's wisdom and keen understanding of dogs which has captivated his audience. But he says his ability is all part of knowing how to relate to a dog's specific nature.
I think the understanding that I can't work against their nature. You know, I love a dog the way I love my children and my wife, but I don't treat them like humans. I actually honor their psychology, you know, their identity, and so I keep them being themselves.
Cesar's love of working with dogs comes down to his admiration of how a dog can simply enjoy all of life.
What I love more about working with dogs is really not about the past or the future. Is what it is right there in front of you, you know, so enjoying what you have. I embrace their philosophy, which is have fun with every single step you give and every second of life, you know. Dogs celebrate every single day. I mean, it's just amazing to see a dog. If they don't know we're going through what we're going through, and economically speaking, they're just happy. That's what I love the most.
Bringing you the best of California. From Upland, this is J.R. Ibarra for California Life.
Hi, it's Jill Garneski, and I'm going to take you on a wild ride. And as you know, you never know what's going to happen. I have been dying to talk to you about all of your cool projects. But mainly, it's the cars. You've built some pretty incredible cars.
I built some exceptional cars too, the Batmobile and the Munsters and you name it.
Is it the George Barris? We have the George Barris with us.
This is my mentor. This is the man, the king of the customizers.
Yeah. What are you doing now?
Well, we are going to be coming and going up to Pebble Beach. We're going to be in the grass with all of our Mercuries. And that is something that's never been done in history, to have custom cars in Pebble Beach.
You just never know who you're going to meet in Los Angeles. Stars everywhere. You're working with cars now made from old fire trucks.
Old fire trucks. We found American LaFrance. They were built in Elmira, New York. And what makes them unique is that they were built to last 100 years. These trucks are 100 years old that we're building, my current one. We find them in the darndest places, and they just look terrible. The last one we found was in Sacramento, and it had been in a woods, parked in a woods for about 40 years. They're exciting. I'm not constrained by any preconceived notion of what I have to do. So these are boat tails, and they're giant. They're larger than life. This current one is 20 feet long.
Right.
They're chain drive. And the sound is absolutely incredible. The engines are 14 liters, 900 cubic inch, 6 cylinders, and with 24 plugs. The pistons are the size of a 2-pound coffee can. So when you pull into a car show, the people there that are to see the cars absolutely go mad because they've never seen anything like it. The body is rust, but it's finished rust. So I'm the only one that can say, God is my painter. We just clear them to make them look beautiful. It looks like it's marbleized.
Now, you've also come out with your own car care line.
It's called Gary Wales California Platinum, and we're going to provide the finest car care product in the world. Put my name to the best, and that's what we're going to have.
But of course, you won the Great American Race, right?
Yes, I did. I was very fortunate.
Yes.
In '84, it was about a 3,000-mile run, and it took 7-10 days, and I won it.
Gary, this was really fun.
And I hope we do it again.
And we will. This is Gary Wales. I'm Jill Garneski, the voice of 40 Plus, and remember, the best is yet to be.
Staycation seems to be the catchphrase of the summer, but some Bay Area residents didn't have to take a trip to experience a new culture. Monique Sultani shows us how one San Francisco area hula dance school brought Hawaii to the Bay, and why some of the nation's best hula dancers were dancing in the streets, literally.
We're here in the heart of San Francisco at Union Square, where on a Saturday afternoon, anything can happen.
Today we're doing our hit and run hula. We have been commissioned by a group to come out here and do hulas throughout the city of San Francisco. So we've started over at the Embarcadero Center. We've already been at Pier 39. We're here at Union Square. We're going to be going throughout other locations throughout the city.
The concept? Dozens of hula dancers ambush audiences with spontaneous performances.
I love it. I looked around on the crowd and everybody was smiling and so many people were surprised, and then Julia noticed there was a couple of
tourists who were trying to get their picture, not realizing that this was happening, and then they're like, oh, and then they wanted, afterwards they were so happy they got their pictures with all the dancers.
Sightseers and students of all ages filled these streets with smiles on their faces and cell phones in their hands.
They are on Twitter, and I'm following their tweets, which say where they are and when they're arriving at the next place.
Oh, I'm Twittering about it, actually, and I just Twittered back out some photos because it was just great.
From the Hawaiian Islands to the streets of San Francisco, the spirit of aloha is alive and uplifting.
Hula dancing is for everybody, and it is the way for us to express ourselves and to really show what our culture is all about and to share it with everybody here in San Francisco.
I think it's incredibly important, and I think one of the great aspects of the Hawaiian culture is aloha, which is a really sharing of love, and hula is one of the ways in which that manifests itself, and one of the ways that you can share and learn.
Aloha can mean many things, from a greeting to peace and love. But no matter how you interpret it, you can certainly feel it today, as one group of dancers touched so many hearts in San Francisco. Bringing you the best in California, from San Francisco, I'm Monique Sultani for California Life.
My coat of many colors that my mama made for me.
Dolly Parton's 5-decade journey to entertainment icon has truly been one of rags to riches.
And although we had no money, I was rich as I could be in my coat of many colors.
From the literal story of a little girl from Tennessee who wore a coat made by her mother from scraps of fabric, only to become a country music crossover sensation and global entertainment superstar, Parton has decided it's time to tell that story in an NBC movie. So, who could possibly be up to the task of playing little Dolly?
And she thinks she's here to meet some more executives like she's done so many times. So I'm here to tell her that she got the part, and I'm more excited than she is. So
the actress Dolly's talking about is no rookie. You've already seen her get laughs alongside some of Hollywood's biggest stars.
Oh my God, what happened to her face?
I painted it. She's a kitty cat.
No, he's a good daddy. He's a bad daddy. He makes us look like The Walking Dead.
And daytime fans watched her grow up on more than 70 episodes of The Young and the Restless. Now it's Olivia Lynn's turn to take on her biggest challenge as 9-year-old Dolly Parton in the upcoming NBC movie Coat of Many Colors.
That you have been chosen to play little Dolly in the movie. Yeah! Woo-hoo-hoo! How's that? This was so cool. I'm like still in shock. This is so cool. I can't wait to play a little one of this.
a little doll. In the second I saw her, I felt her, and I think it's more than anything just feeling what I felt. I just felt that little spark and that little light and that little life that she had inside her.
As for that actual coat of many colors Dolly sings about, it is still on display at Parton's Dollywood theme park in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Bringing you the best of California, I'm Brent Weber for California Life.
My coat of many colors that my mama made for me.
And after the break, the 31st annual Mooning of the Amtrak is losing steam. A heavy police presence seemed to damper the mood, but that didn't stop a grandmother and her granddaughter or a family of 3 from dropping their pants. Find out what I mean when we come back.
Before Sharknado's gonna hit, I'm glad I have Tara by my side. We're gonna need
whether she's battling a Sharknado,
check out my killer lashes,
or the Beverly Hills Housewives. Actress Kyle Richards is no stranger to dealing with drama. But because she's among the 5 million Americans who suffer from chronic dry eye, turning on the waterworks is often easier said than done.
Chronic dry eye disease is a condition of the eye where there's inflammation in the eye that may lead to lowered tear production.
Kyle found herself becoming dependent on artificial tears.
I was just very, very uncomfortable, and it was just a nuisance to always have to use those drops all the time.
Ophthalmologist Dr. Netta Shami says that's usually the first sign there's a real problem.
So they find that they have to stash artificial tears every place they can get their hands on, in their purse, their desk, by their bedside table.
Other symptoms include redness, irritation or burning, even blurry vision.
Especially working on the computer, because the dryness forces the person to have to blink to be able to really lubricate the surface.
If left untreated, chronic dry eye could lead to permanent damage.
And really the damage could potentially lead to scarring and vision changes. Seeing an eye doctor is very important to make the determination that you may have this condition, and also seeking treatment with prescription eye drops rather than just covering the problem with artificial tears.
One of the prescription drugs available is Restasis, which is the only FDA-approved treatment to help increase tear production.
To really get to the core of the problem, it's important to understand that this is a chronic disease. It is a condition that cannot be cured, but can be controlled with the right treatment.
I'm very happy that I went to my eye doctor and got the diagnosis and the Restasis, and now I'm good to go.
And take a stab at whatever drama comes her way next. Bringing you the best of California, I'm Audra Stafford for California Life.
Millions of Americans wear contact lenses safely every year, and experts are warning the public to protect their vision by avoiding the temptation to buy non-prescription or decorative lenses from an unregulated source.
We know from a survey that 16% of Americans have worn decorative contact lenses at some point. And according to the American Optometric Association, 25% of those were obtained without a prescription, which means they weren't fitted by their eye doctor.
That's a real cause for concern because you could be putting your vision at risk.
You don't know what you're getting, and you can have lenses that don't fit appropriately, which can result in severe infections that result in loss of vision.
The safest place to get your lenses is through your eye doctor. Visit your eye doctor every year to be sure your eyes are healthy enough to continue wearing contacts, and when you order your new lenses, get them from a legitimate source. Learn more at cdc.gov/contact lenses.
The 31st annual mooning of the Amtrak's beginnings aren't clear, probably because it started at a bar. But it's said that a patron at Mugs Away Saloon vowed to buy his friends drinks if they could moon the oncoming train. Safe to say, they all got hammered. So decades later, the event has become the official mooning mecca of Orange County. Carol Wickenheiser even brought her granddaughter this year.
I can say I went mooning with my grandma now.
And what better place to take someone out on a second date?
I'm okay with it.
She's pretty liberal.
Yeah, there you go.
She has her pants off most of the day.
Why not bring out the whole family? Even the dog joined in. But once again, the police presence was heavy, a little too much for some.
Harmless tradition.
And they're wasting an awful lot of taxpayers' money on the police, and the security is ridiculous.
With a small showing this year, it's unknown whether or not the Amtrak mooning will have enough cheeks to continue. Bringing you the best of California from Laguna Niguel, I'm Jonathan Camus for California Life.
With back pain affecting majority of Americans, Dr. Jeremy James provides a whole-body behavioral approach in his book, The Younger Next Year Back Book, promising to cure back problems.
You have to change your behavior, change the way you live, and rebuild the body's natural support structure, which is the core.
Dr. Jeremy James reveals his 7 cardinal rules to eliminate back pain, guiding you along the path to success. Most importantly, learning the proper ways to move. He tells us even the most simple, basic moves are causing serious damage to our bodies, and there are very simple adjustments that can be made immediately.
So in the book, we use 7 rules to find a humorous way to teach people basically 2 concepts. The first concept is how to identify and change the daily movements and behaviors that are keeping your back in a state of aggravation and pain. After that's accomplished, we teach them some basic exercises to rebuild the structures in the core and in the gluteal muscles, the muscles in the buttocks. So the 7 rules guide you step by step through that process.
Dr. James believes the most common cause of back pain is repeatedly doing exercises the wrong way. A perfect example is known as the bird dog, in which Dr. James demonstrates the right and wrong way to do it.
The most common cause of chronic back pain is your behavior, the way you sit, stand, move, and live. So movement, if you've gotten in a state of back pain because of the way you move, and you move in ways that aren't healthy to the spine, it's very likely you're going to incorporate those movements into your exercises. So you have to be very careful and vigilant when doing these back exercises, that you are doing them the right way and you're not incorporating those harmful movement patterns into the back exercises.
According to the experts, behavioral change is better than any pill or surgery when it comes to curing back pain.
Because whether you have a surgery or take a pill, if you don't change the behaviors, the movements, the way you sit, stand, and carry yourself that got you there in the first place, the surgery is just a short-term fix. The same with a pill. Eventually, if you're still doing those things that damage your back every day, you're going to end up under the knife again, and you're going to stay on medications or pills.
Dr. James speaks of the back as a geological force and the dangers associated with years of harmful behavior.
Seemingly insignificant movements like bending and twisting that don't hurt at the time, slowly over years or decades, wear down your spine until ultimately a threshold is passed and you have pain. This is a lifelong commitment. It's a total change to the way you move and live. If you just do this stuff until your back feels a little bit better, then guess what? It's going to come back. Make these changes. They're not hard. You'll be healthier and better off for it.
On back pain, I'm Gigi Copes for California Life.
And that'll do it for us. If you missed any part of our show, please go to our website, CaliforniaLifeHD.com. We'll see you next time.
Watch us on our YouTube channel. Stay connected to our social media, like our blogs on Facebook. Follow our tweets on Twitter, where we bring you the best of California.